You can write everything down if you want to. Be brave enough to write every one of your goals down. But I'm going to tell you something. Life's going to hit you in your mouth, and you got to do me a huge favor. Your why has to be greater than that knockdown. And I love it. Buster Douglas got knocked out. Nobody ever got knocked out by Mike Tyson and ever got back up. It was almost a 10 count. He was stumbling. They were 4, 3, 2, 1, and ding, 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 saved by the bell. He goes to his corner. The whole world is like, yep, that's it. Once he comes back out, that's it. Mike's going to just hammer him. And exactly that. Mike Tyson came out like, I got him. I got this kid up against the rope. Listen to me, many of you right now, life's got you up against the rope. You can't give up. You can't give in. Listen to me, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And if life's got you backed up, I need you to do what Buster Douglas did. Buster Douglas started fighting back. And the world was shocked. Goliath has been knocked down. What happened? And they went to Buster Douglas and they asked Buster Douglas simply like, what happened? And Buster Douglas said, listen to me, it's real simple. Before my mother died, she told the whole world that I was going to beat Mike Tyson. And 2 days before the fight, my mother died. Buster Douglas had a decision to make. When his mother died, he could die with his mother, or he made a decision, I can wake up and I can live for mom. And he knocked Mike Tyson out simply because his why was greater than that punch. His why was greater than defeat. His why was greater than his trial and his tribulation. And I'm telling you, if you don't know what your why is and your why isn't strong, you're going to get knocked out every single day.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Whoa. I want to say good morning. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special late night broadcast. My name is Brandon Ivy, Bitcoin Brandon, or previously known as the Business Mindset Coach from Los Angeles, California. Happy New Year. Congratulations. You have survived and made it to another year, uncharted territory, a chance to have a brand new beginning. And I hope you, first and foremost, are grateful. You show gratitude for where you are and what you have, even if you're not where you want to be. And 99% of people will tell you they're not where they want to be, or they're not fully satisfied with where they sit, because you can always do better. You can always have more. You're always growing, and you're just on another stepping stone. Let me tell you some good news for those of you who feel that, you know, the future does not look bright and you don't know if you're going to be able to make it. You've made it this far. You've had other times in your life where you felt this way before, yet you made it through. So there's enough proof and evidence that if you've been able to do it before, then there's nothing in the future that can stop you from where you want to be in. Any obstacles that can be in your way. There are only chances to learn lessons, not any issues. They're just obstacles. So welcome. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you're listening in from. This is a special broadcast. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestions. It is up to you to make whatever decisions you want to make in life, whether that's financially, mentally, physically. You know, that mindset, that's completely up to you. But this is a specific broadcast, so let me recognize some people I see we have on here. Justice, welcome from Florida. Shelly Hendricks Pearson, Gina Muhammad, Teresa Carlson, Deborah Coulter, Louis Paris, Marnita from Colorado, Janelle from Colorado, Miss Debbie from Texas. See, Tony Pinkston from Philly, Tammy Turner, Salt Lake, Ian Tonga, good afternoon or evening. Elizabeth Longboy, Provis Lofties from Corpus Christi, Texas. Shelly Hendricks Pearson from Texas. Rich King, Paiute, Washington. Teresa Carlson from Washington State. Dagmar from Lake Arrowhead. Deborah's in Colorado. Tori from Texas. And this is something new. This is my third broadcast using StreamYard, so I'm still getting used to this, still getting the hang of it. Good evening, Gerald Gardner. And I'm streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. James Jones from Dallas, Texas. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for spending the evening with me. And I cannot say, I promise you I will keep this short because I don't know. I don't know how long I'm going to go. I don't want to go too long. I was breezing through all of my old broadcasts on this subject, and I saw one broadcast where I did it for 2.5 hours. That was way too long. And I saw others where I broke them up into 2 nights. I'm not going to go that long tonight. I tell you that now. But one thing that I didn't do, since I do this only once a year, normally I go back and I watch the old stuff that I've done. I think the first one I did was in 2012. 2012 or 2013 was the first one I did. And in the early days, I used to do them maybe once a month. I used to do a talk like this until a mentor of mine pulled me aside and said, Brandon, what are you doing? And I said, what do you mean? He said, I see that you're excited. You got some new information. It's working for you now. You're starting to have great success. And you want to tell the world. Isn't that how it always is? You start having success and you get excited about it and you want to tell everybody about it. You want to tell them how you did what you did that they can duplicate. And he said, I'm going to tell you something. Most of the people are not mentally ready for this information. Most of the people, they're not ready for it. You are sharing information not only that they're not ready for, but they're not qualified to hear. And I thought that was very interesting, the way he put it, that they're not qualified to hear, because he said they're not going to understand it, nor will they apply the information that you're sharing in the first place. And so, guys, you listen to like Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Bob Proctor, Rhonda Byrne. You know, these modern day motivational speakers, they all teach the secret. They just teach it in different ways. And they don't call it the secret, except Rhonda Byrne and maybe Bob Proctor. John C. Maxwell, all these, Robert Kiyosaki, they all know the secret. But they also know people, and they know psychology, and they know that it needs to be fed to people in a certain way that they can consume. So each motivational speaker that you see out there teaches it from a certain point of view, a certain perspective. Les Brown is all about fiery, motivational, sounds like a Baptist preacher. And that was my go-to guy in my 20s. It was all about Les Brown. In my 30s, it became more about, or late 20s, early 30s, it became about Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is the most effective at sharing the secret because the way he comes across, it works almost 100% of the time, because he teaches about changing your physiology. Changing your physiology. While Les Brown wants to get you pumped up, excited, motivated, wants like you're about to win a prize fight. Tony Robbins, on the other hand, says we need to change how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your situation, how you feel about others, how setting your goals and attacking it, and doing it from a space of prosperity and feeling good. There's a reason for that, which I'm going to get into, and why his way of doing it is most successful. But the person that I listen to most now, in now my late 30s and mid 40s, has been Jim Rohn. Because Jim Rohn focuses on mindset. Now, it's not that one is better than the other or more important than the other. They all are part of it. And all of these motivational speakers came from the same school, the Earl Nightingale School. Have you ever listened to a broadcast called The Strangest Secret? The Strangest Secret. They all came from his school back in the 60s and 70s. But who trained Earl Nightingale? There's a gentleman by the name of Napoleon Hill, who Earl Nightingale was a student of. Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. He didn't say work and grow rich. He didn't say wish and grow rich, hope and grow rich. He said think and grow rich. And if you ever studied Napoleon Hill and the books he's written, the most famous, obviously, is Think and Grow Rich, but there's multiple versions of that book. And there was the very first draft was pulled off the shelves because Henry Ford forced him to. And why was it pulled off the shelf? Because Napoleon Hill actually gave away the secrets. It is so simplistic, it is stupid. Not necessarily easy, but it is simplistic. Everybody wants to know what is the secret sauce, the secret ingredient. Every time you see somebody that's successful, and if you've gotten 5 minutes to talk to that person, how did you do it? What did you do that if I duplicated you, I can have the same type of results? And that's difficult to answer because without the proper knowledge and the mindset, you can duplicate exactly what somebody else does and still not get the same results. I like to always break things down in a way that my mom can understand, simplistic terms. And I need to qualify this and give a disclaimer as well. This information that I am sharing is not my information. I did not make this up. I did not go through life from an experience and say, I learned this, so I'm going to share it. No. This information is law. It has been around since the beginning of time. It's just that people have figured it out and been able to translate it in their own way. But it is a law. I cannot change this information. I cannot debunk this information. It is like gravity. Whether I like gravity, whether I agree with gravity, whether I understand gravity, whether I'm aware of it or not, it works. Do you think ants are aware of gravity? No. But it is working on them in their lives. Same with all of us. When Oprah Winfrey was first made aware of the secret after she was already wealthy, and she learned of some of the habits that the people with the secret do, she made a come. She said, I've been doing that for 20 years. I just didn't know there was something. What was that I hear? Oh, my phone. Voice activation. All right. She said, I've been doing that for years. I just didn't know there was a name to it. See, people can apply the secret and not even know that they're applying the secret. It's just most people are unaware of it. And the reason I didn't listen to my old recordings of this is because I wanted to have a fresh perspective on this. I wanted it to flow from me without, I don't want to use the word tainted, but without any of the old stuff, because I have new experiences now. I'm older. I've had different success. I'm in a different industry. I've had new life experiences. So I didn't want to be consumed in the old stuff and let that influence what I might say tonight. And I want to do this from a space of where we're in, where we're talking about crypto and we're talking about the greatest economic shift in wealth in the history of mankind for the most amount of people. That is the industry, but most of the people are unaware of it. And even the ones that are aware don't have the right mindset on how to attack this. So I want to come from that experience, something different than what I've done in the past. And I don't have any notes. I have absolutely no idea what I'm about to say next because it's not me. And this is a challenge because I have the camera on. Normally when I do these, I'm on a phone or I have the camera off because I'm moving around, I'm walking around, and I get into a zone. And when I get into a zone, I feel like I'm a passenger and I'm just listening as with the rest of you on what's being shared. Because again, this is not my information. I learned it. I was made aware of it. And then I applied it. And I like to share in stories. So I'm going to share a story. But first and foremost, let's talk about the one thing that most people care about the most besides their family and health is money. Money. Everybody wants more money. We wake up in the morning and everything that we do is trying to be productive to make more money. But we don't even understand what money is. Most people believe that money is what you use to buy food, groceries, pay your bills, live. And that's the extent of what we understand money is. We were born and raised to know this is money. What is this? This is not money. It's a piece of paper. But what's important is what it represents. Money. Anybody seen The Matrix? I know the latest Matrix came out, and oh my goodness, while it was visually great, it was disappointing. But The Matrix, I was watching, which one was it? Matrix 2. And Neo was with no, not Neo. Morpheus, Trinity, and Seraph are sitting down with the Merovingian. And they're talking, and they say something about love. What motivates somebody is love. And love is just a word. It's a word. It's a word to put a name to a feeling, an emotion. It's the emotion that we call love. Different languages have many words for it. Only in English, there's only one word for it. It's called love. In the Latin languages, you might have 5, 6, mi amor, 7, 8 different words to describe different forms of love. But it's just a word that puts a identity on an emotion. Anger. What is anger? Anger is a word that describes an emotion, a feeling. The universe does not understand negatives. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me pause on that. Continue this with money. So we know money. Money has changed over time. This is what most people know. But then now most people don't carry around cash. They have a debit card. They use a debit card, or they use a credit card for money. Or money is now changing again. I just got this today, which is my crypto debit card. Crypto debit card. Another form of version of that is this little thing right here. You see that B? This is a physical representation of Bitcoin. This actually is worth whatever metal this is. It's not an actual Bitcoin. But this is the future of, I don't even want to use the word money, but I'll use the word resources, because money is a tool. Money is a resource. It is part of the universe. We just put an identity on it. Because if we want to live in life, if we want to do things, you need resources to do it. You need tools to do it. So we invented this term called money that allows you to pursue your life. Pursuit is in the pursuit of this so that you can use this to do other things. Broke people do not like money. What? What do you mean? Not broke people, poor people. And a lot of you are not going to understand and may disagree with what I'm saying because you don't understand. Poor people don't like money. What are you talking about? Poor people don't like money. Yeah, they do. Poor people think about money more than anybody. You think rich people think about money 24/7? They don't. Rich people, people who understand the secret, aren't thinking about money. They're thinking about lifestyle. They're thinking about passion. They're thinking about, what do I want to do? And what resources do I need to make that happen? So when they think of resources, they have a positive feeling for it. They have an excited feeling for it. It makes them feel good because they understand that resources allows them to live the type of life they desire. Whereas poor people use terms like this. Money doesn't grow on trees. I don't have enough money to pay my bills. I don't have enough money to buy food and groceries. I don't have enough money to send my kid to school. I don't have enough money to pay for my medical bills and costs. So, how does that make that person feel? Every time they think of money, it's a negative feeling, it's a bad feeling. It's almost like it's a curse. It's that one obstacle that's holding you back, lack of. But you need to understand, since money is just a word describing a real physical resource in the universe, it is limitless. There is no such thing as limited resource when it comes to what money is supposed to represent. There's no scarcity of it. There is enough resources on this planet where every single man, woman, and child can live a wealthy life. The system was created and designed that only a small percentage of people are actually enjoying that, while everybody else is slaves to the system. That's why I brought up the Matrix. So we're born and raised, and we go through an education system that does not teach you any of this. This knowledge is taught in private families, in private societies, in private networks that you don't have access to. It's like they bottled up the knowledge and kept it from you. That's why it's called The Secret. Are you guys still with me? I'm watching how I say things, because my mentor was correct. And I realized it much later, which is why I only do this talk once a year. So let me go by personal experience. I had an aha moment. The year was, I think, it was 2011, the fall, September. Some things always seem to be happening to me in August and September because I got into crypto physically for the first time, putting money in. I put $30 in August 30th, 2017. $30, I flipped that into six figures in 3.5 months. So I had my aha moment. It was around September 2011. And my life has never been the same since. Before that, I was taught, if you want to have financial wealth, or if you want to have a successful life, you must go to school, get good grades, and get a good, safe, secure job. A job that will take care of you for the rest of your life. Isn't that what we're all taught? I followed that concept. I'm a Morehouse man. I went to Morehouse College, got my degree. I thought I was going to follow in my father's footsteps. He worked for the same company for 40 years, retired, full pension for the rest of his life. But he is an exception to that rule, because that is not the reality for most people. The reality for most people today is that you're barely making enough money to make ends meet. You need two people in the household working full-time job just to stay above water. You never have extra. Always struggling. And things are always seeming to get worse, not better. The quality of life is not increasing as it used to for every generation. The greatest generation is now passing on. We just lost Betty White. 99 years old. I lost my grandmother a year and a half. My grandma was born in 1923. The World War II generation is passing us. And to their fear, the world is in the hands of their children. The hippies, the baby boomers. They said, man, if our children get control, we're all going to hell. The world's going to turn upside down. I don't know. Look how the world is right now. My generation is Generation X. And my generation and below is the generations where our quality of life is less than it was for our parents. It's much harder for my generation and below coming up in this society to get a college degree, to get a job, to be able to buy a house, be able to put all your kids through school, and do all of this with no debt. It is nearly impossible to do that unless you become and think like an entrepreneur outside of the grid, which is what I did. I figured it took me a while, but I figured it out. I said, this way ain't going to work. It's not going to work. So our quality of life is dropping because people are doing the same thing over and over and over again, yet expecting a different result. And what is that called? That is called insanity. You're on the rat race. And that's what most people are doing. Not realizing that right now, this is an exciting time to be alive. We are living in one of the most extraordinary times in human history as far as our development. Generation X is the last generation that knows what life was like before the internet. It's like, think of if you know your history, the last generation before airplanes came and the world got smaller, before people went to space and all that stuff. Now, my generation is the last generation to know what life was like before the internet, because it's never going back to that. The only way it goes back to that is if, for whatever reason, the entire world loses electricity for an extended period of time, and we're back in the dark ages if that happens. There's an interesting documentary that I suggested everybody watch called The Men Who Built America. That was the third industrial revolution, the time period between 1880 and 1920 or so. Very, very interesting time, because that is also when a major shift in humanity took place. Major shift. We're going through that now, but it's 10 times bigger than it was before. Just like the Matrix, people aren't even aware of it. Most people aren't aware of it. So let's go back into the secret. So when I said, that old way of doing things, trying to get a good job, and exactly we already know it's not going to work, then I said, I want to become an entrepreneur then. I want to become my own a businessman, but I lack the resources, to put $100,000 down to start a business. If I'm only 21, 22 years old, no bank is going to give me a loan like that because I haven't even established credit yet. I don't have rich family to pass down generational wealth. I don't have any of that stuff. So I got to start from the ground up, from scratch. And the best industry to do that was in direct sales, where you can make something out of nothing. Start from scratch based on your work ethic. How hard are you willing to work? And you can write your own, how much you want to make is based on what you work. And that's what I did. And I wish I could say that was a Cinderella story, and it was not. I failed for 10 years. 10 years of frustration. 10 years of heartache and pain. 10 years of watching other people having great success. People that, and nothing to say, don't try to toot my own horn, but people that I thought I was better than. I mastered the art of doing presentations, compensation plans, the product and services, how to sell, sales techniques, all that stuff. And it's like I just could not get over the hump. And I'm sitting in a room on a Saturday morning watching a presenter, and some guy goes up there and he's stumbling over his words. He's messing the presentation up. He doesn't even, to me, it's like he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he made $10,000 last week. And I'm like, the most frustrating thing. And I was always asking my mentors, I'm like, I don't understand. What am I doing wrong? What do I need to do? And they kept going back to mindset, personal development. What in the world does that have to do with me knowing the product and the compensation plan and giving presentations? They're like, Brandon, you don't get it. This is what you need to focus on, not that stuff. And I remember one mentor, I think it was 26 or 27 years old, said, let me tell you one common denominator that every single successful person in our industry has, no matter what company that they're in. They all do the same thing. And I was like, what is that? That they got good at sharing their story. Not in selling the product, but sharing their story. I heard him tell me that, but I still didn't get it. Right? I didn't get it. It took years. And finally, it was the fall of 2011. And that year was the worst year in my family's life personally. I'm not outside of deaths in the family. But there were personal things my family went through where It was a very, very, very bad time. And you know how they say you need to hit rock bottom before you are able to just let go, trust, have faith, and be lifted up again? That was one of those times that year, because the following year, 2012, was the start and one of the best business years I've ever had to start everything off. Because 1 year later, I was walked off my job, retired, making 3 times more money than my boss was. But in 2011, it was hard for me to see that that was even possible. And I came across two things that changed my life. By this time, I need to qualify this. I've already read everything by Rich Dad Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki, the Cash Flow Quadrant, all that stuff. I already read Who Moved My Cheese, The Richest Man in Babylon, all of John C. Maxwell's books on leadership and development. I've studied Zig Ziglar, Les Brown. I was just really getting into Tony Robbins at the time. I had read Think and Grow Rich, which I realized later was a watered down version of what The Secret actually was, because Henry Ford forced Napoleon Hill to pull the truth off the bookshelves. So I had read all those books and stuff like that, and the light bulb didn't go off for me. I didn't get it yet. But there's two things that I did that the light bulb went off. I read one book by Wallace D. Wattles called The Science of Getting Rich. That book. I even recorded myself reading it, and I uploaded it to YouTube. The Science of Getting Rich. The second thing I listened to was an audio series from a gentleman by the name of Kevin Trudeau called Your Wish is Your Command. Your wish is your command. By this time, I had already... Did Rhonda Byrne's The Secret movie come out yet? I was aware of The Secret at this time, but I didn't believe it. Because I'm like, I've been doing this stuff. Think and Grow Rich. I've been thinking about getting rich for years. I'm not rich yet. Does this stuff actually really work? But I learned that The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, is only the surface. Have you ever watched a movie premiere or a preview or a trailer? It's like the Spider-Man movie I just watched. Fantastic movie. But I only saw the trailer. And at the time, I only saw the trailer. It's like you saying, I saw the Spider-Man movie when all you did was saw the trailer. Does a trailer tell you the entire movie? Not in this one. I was shocked. I was like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. The trailer is just designed to pique your interest. The book Think and Grow Rich is just a trailer of the real thing. And people are trying to live their life or apply information from the trailer and not getting the full picture. And the wealthy over the centuries do this on purpose. They will purposely mislead you for their own status quo. Okay? The system was designed for you to fail or only go so high. So, reading that book, The Science of Getting Rich, and listening to what Kevin Trudeau, my brain went, the light bulb just went off for me. One of the things I had to do was let go. Stop trying to control the outcome. Everything. I have a video that I uploaded to YouTube called Focus on the Goal and Not the Task. That was one of my biggest challenges. I was always focusing on the task. What do I need to do to make things happen because of how I was raised? I was raised, if you work hard, you're going to be successful. And that is not true. That is only part of it. But work alone is not what's going to do it. You can be working hard in the wrong industry. It's about working smart, focusing on the right things, And when you understand the law of the universe, you really realize that the work you put in means nothing at the end of the day. It's what are you attracting to you? It's the law of attraction. How many of you have ever said, I wish that I could be a top recruiter or promoter or salesperson in whatever it is that you're doing? I wish I had these people on my team. That person's only successful because they have superstars working for them or in their network. I can't recruit anybody to save my life. How many of you have those thought processes? How come this doesn't happen to me? If I had Brandon Ivy on my team, I'd be rich. You have those type of thoughts? I used to, all the time. I used to look at my old mentors. I'm like, yeah, but you got like guys like Steve Carter. You've got Sam Oram. You've got Byron Nelson on your team. You've got Delzino on your team. You've got Holton Bugs on your team. If I had Holton Bugs on my team, I'd be a millionaire too. When you have that thought, you don't get it yet. The biggest superstar you will ever recruit and have on your team is you. Is you. And what will happen is you will start to attract other like-minded people to you. Other superstars. Winners work with winners. Losers work with losers. Because winners are not attracted to losers. Do you understand how this is? I'm going to get more into it in a second because I'm kind of jumping a little bit. But winners work with winners. You must be able to attract people to you, not force them, not give somebody a drink of water with a fire hose. That's why it goes back to what my mentor said, is the ability to tell your story. Because then others will be able to relate to your story. And they'll be able to say, wow, that person's story is phenomenal. My situation was similar. That person found a way out of their situation. And if that person was able to do it, maybe it can be the same solution for me. Let me find out what that person did. Let me contact them. Now that person has people coming to them instead of them picking up their Rolodex. I'm aging myself every time I say that, right? Picking up your smartphone and going through everybody in your list and trying to call friends and family. Hey, if the opportunity was right and you could fit into your time schedule, would you be open to a business opportunity? I still remember all that stupid stuff. None of that crap works. Yet that's what they teach you. So let's go back to telling my story, how I overcame. I had to let go. And one of the things that I learned was focus on the goal. What is my goal? What do I want out of life? If money was no longer an issue in my life, what would I do with my time? What is my passion? How does that make me feel? One of the things that I also learned too is that we go through life with tunnel vision. We only see things through our foggy lens, through our own experience, through our own selfish little menial desires, not on the grand scheme of things. And we don't understand that everything is connected. Everything, both physically and non-physical, animated and non-animated. This remote control, this phone, this cup, the computer, the ground I'm walking on, the trees, the air we breathe. Everything is made up of matter from the universe. It is just formed in a specific way. And they're all connected. There are things that we understand and there are things that we do not, like premonition or a mother's intuition about her children. How can science explain certain things when it can't? Yet, So when you realize that, what you do has an impact on everything else around you. What somebody else does has an impact, can impact you indirectly or even directly. So we're going through life looking at life with a magnifying glass. And on this magnifying glass, we're able to see, just what's in this screen. And we say to ourselves, man, life is so bad. I want more out of life. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do things. And we are already applying the secret, because let me explain it this way. The secret is feelings. What? Is it that simple? Yeah. The secret is emotions and feelings. Because how you feel, your personal emotions, is what causes your body to vibrate at a certain frequency. And your brain is nothing but a transmitter. It's a transmitter. It's transmitting energy. And like a magnet, it attracts to it what it is transmitting. And if you're feeling bad, you're transmitting a feeling of bad. And the universe is answering you. It wants to give you what you desire. And unwittingly, you're telling the universe you desire negativity. You desire bad things happening to you. So it's just bringing more of that into your life. We're going to come back to that. And I said that too early, but I needed to say that to prove this point. Normally, I'll wait till the end. That's the secret. Right there, that's the secret. And then once you know the secret, you know how to apply it to work for you instead of working against you. Because most people, it's working against you. The good thing is every single one of you is practicing the secret right now. You just didn't know it. You're doing it right now. How you feel. So saying that, going back to me, how I had my aha moment. They said, when you are thinking about something you desire, the universe wants to answer it for you. Things start happening outside of your magnifying glass, outside of what you can see. And it's moving things around like a picture puzzle, so that these things can eventually reach you, so that you get what it is that you desire. Things need to change and move around. And a humongous puzzle piece that we cannot even fathom how this process works, but it does. And the problem, if you are only understanding of what's on your visual magnifying, like a submarine with a sonar, and it only sees what comes in the sonar range, and you think that's your world, and you desire something, you're thinking, well, they said think and grow rich. I've been thinking I'm still broke, because you haven't seen the results yet. And then you start, for a brief moment, this is why Tony Robbins is having so much success and the others do not. When you listen to Les Brown, you're motivated and you're excited for a moment. For a moment. It doesn't last until you get yourself hyped up and excited again next time you watch one of his videos. Like church on Sundays. Everybody goes to church on Sunday to get their fix for the week. And then after a week of dread and despair and bad news, you go back to church on Sunday and you're now filled with hope again. You're in the presence of the Lord and you're feeling good. And you're recharged to be able to go through another bad week. And you continue this cycle. Because it's short-lived. So when you start having those good thoughts, and then what we call reality hits, let me stop dreaming. Let me stop, focusing on thinking about me being rich. That ain't never going to happen. I got to pay my bills tomorrow. I got to figure out how I'm going to get my kids some shoes. And you start thinking about that and the bad things. You just negated what you started, and the universe never had enough time to work directly in your life where you can see the magnifying glass. So I learned this. I said, okay, let me let go. Let me not try to force something. Let me let, you know that word, live and let live? Let me allow it to happen. Let me just consistently focus on what it is I desire, not how it's going to happen. In religion, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, all of the Abrahamic branch religions, even if you go to the Far East, Buddhism, all the rest, they all have a singular tenet to them as well about belief. Believing in something you don't see and you can't understand, and science can't explain it. There's no proof or evidence of it, but you have belief. My earliest lesson on this was when I caught chicken pox twice. I had it mild when I was 4, and I got it again when I was 6, the full blown. And I remember the spots all on my body and the itching, and my mom putting like that Calamine, whatever lotion in the bathtub and just sitting me in it, and then putting socks on my hands so I couldn't scratch myself. And I remember before going to sleep, my mom saying, all right, we're going to say our nightly prayers. And she's praying, we need to pray to God and thank God for healing us, for healing you. And I remember saying, yeah, I'll thank God once I feel better. And my mom said, no. You need to thank him because it's already done. He already said so. It's already decreed. It's a done deal. Thank him for healing you. You need to show gratitude. And my little brain, I didn't get that. I'm like, Mom, what are you talking about? It's already done. I still got the spots on me. I still itch. I'm miserable. Are you talking about thanking God for healing me? I'm not healed yet. I'll give gratitude once it happens. Right? Wrong. That's not the law of the universe. It doesn't work that way. See, without knowing, my mom was teaching me the secret. But she learned it based through religion, based through Christianity, growing up in a Baptist church, teaching the secret. The Bible, the Quran, teaches the secret. You just don't know that's what you're getting. Remember, it's a law of the universe. It is not owned by one source, by one group, by one religion, by one people. You go to any part of the world and their ancient religions, and you're going to hear the same thing. So as an adult now, I said, okay, I'm going to have the faith and belief that I do deserve to have more. I'm going to focus on what it is that I want, and that's where I'm going to keep my focus. And how does it make me feel acting as if I already have it? You know, that's another term, act as if. Most charlatans will say, fake it till you make it. Fake it, that's wrong. You don't fake it till you make it. Act as if you already have it. And how does it make you feel to know you already have it? And to hold that feeling. See, one thing about the brain, the universe, it doesn't understand negatives and it doesn't understand time the way we do. The universe and time is on a whole nother level. When we look at the sky right now, we look at the stars, the distant stars, we're looking into the past. That light we see is 1 billion years old. We don't know what's the current going on out there because we're looking at the past. Time is relative. What do I mean by that? All right, let me break it to you this way. Have you ever put your finger on a hot stove for a minute, for a second? That second of burning feels like an eternity, right? Feels like an eternity. But you spend an hour with the person that you love after you haven't seen them in a long time and you've got to go again. And you spend 1 hour, 1 hour felt like 5 minutes. Understand that? How time is relative? When you wake up in the morning because the alarm clock goes off, you got that snooze button on. So you hit it, and you know you got 5 more minutes. Next thing you know, 10 seconds later, the alarm's going off again. You're like, 5 minutes couldn't have gone that fast, right? But then you're sitting in church listening to a boring preacher on 1 hour seems like 10. Time is relative. That was another thing I had to learn. That my wishes and desires will not happen based on my time frame. It'll happen based on all of the crap that the universe has to get through from the negative energy I've been putting out for decades. It's got to get through all of that. All those negative neurons in my brain from negative thoughts that I have without even realizing it. And again, the universe doesn't know positive or negative. It only knows what is. What is the most dominant signal you are sending out? Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. What can be negative to you might be positive to somebody else. Do you ever think about that? So it doesn't work on negative. It just works on how you feel, which again is why Tony Robbins is so successful, because he teaches how to change your physiology for longer than a fleeting moment, to hold that feeling for as long as possible, because you are now projecting that and attracting to you that same feeling from whether it's from other people or circumstances to keep you feeling that way. So the same is true on the negative side, which is why most people stay stuck, because that is what they're projecting out. So I said, okay, I'm going to think differently now. I'm not going to worry about how it's going to happen. I'm just going to believe it's going to happen because I want it to happen. And I am grateful that it's going to happen. And I love the feeling of it happening. And I was in a business. And this was around, so I came to that realization in September. So I started applying this. September, October, November, no results. And a part of me was like, see, I knew that anything that was going to happen. But then I remembered, it's not based on your time. We don't realize how much garbage and crap we have built inside of us, festering, manifesting itself. You know, there is a spectrum where our eyes can only see a certain amount of colors. Our ears can only hear up to certain frequencies. Does that mean noise has stopped? No. There's big spectrum. Dogs can hear at a different level. Birds can see at a different level than we can. So I remembered that. I said, okay, maybe I'm just not able to see it yet. What if there's science that's already done on eyes where if you change, and they do this with robots and cameras, where you can see body heat of people, you can see vibrational frequencies of people. You may not be able to see it, but I bet you can believe it or you can feel it. Let me give you this example. How many of you have felt somebody standing behind you when you didn't hear them walking up to you? You just felt their energy and their presence. You know, that's why we have, it's like a force field around our body. And our force field is interacting with each other. Even when you are not interacting with that person verbally or physically. Our frequencies. We can walk into a room, I feel bad energy in this room. You ever felt that? I just don't like the energy in this space. I need to leave. This person might be beautiful and gorgeous and everything. You walk up to them, you automatically can feel, oh, there's some bad juju on this person. Dogs can feel this. Dogs feel your energy. Dogs can feel what you're putting off, whether it is happiness, whether you're sad, whether you're angry. The dog, your dog reacts to that. A stranger walks up and you think that stranger is a threat. The dog thinks that stranger is a threat. Not because you told the dog sick him, because the dog read your energy. That person walks up and you love that person, Your dog feels that and will stand down on this stranger that's walking up because of your energy you were putting off. We as humans don't see or hear or feel on that level. But because we don't feel or hear on that level, does that mean it doesn't exist? This is the stuff you've got to be aware of. So I said, okay, I'm not going to look at what's going on my magnifying glass. I'm just going to keep applying. December rolls around, and I had to do a Saturday morning presentation. And I remember it was rainy and it was cold that Saturday morning. And I had to do the presentation at 9. I was up at 3 a.m., so I was still sleepy. And I remember my wife saying, stay in bed, don't worry about it. I got up to do it anyway, and I remember logging on, and nobody was there. And so I sat there, 5 minutes goes by, nobody logged on, and this was the crossroads in my life. This was a major crossroad. This decision changed my life. What was my decision? I thought about, all right, let me shut this down and climb back in bed and get some more sleep. I'll just do this again next Saturday. I'll get better at promoting, so I'll have more people on next Saturday. But then the other side of me said, no, act as if. Act as if you've got 1,000 people listening to you right now. And put on the same performance as if there was 1,000 people listening to you. And so I remember hearing that in my brain. And then I justified it by saying, you know what, yeah, go ahead and do it, Brandon. You can use the practice. You just practice. So I started to do the presentation. Now, back in those days, we didn't have Zoom like we have now. And it was a conference call, just calling in. And I remember hearing a ding, when somebody enters the room, ding. I remember hearing a ding. Somebody entered the room 10 minutes after I had already started doing the presentation. I didn't think nothing of it. I finished the presentation, and then I climbed back in bed. 2 days later, Monday rolls around, and I get a phone call. And it was a guy who said, Brandon, you don't know me, but I hopped on your presentation this past Saturday. I saw a post or something that you made, and I said, I'm not doing nothing right now. Let me hop on. I was blown away. I apologize for coming on late because, see, my guests don't know that there was nobody on the call. They only knew that I was doing a presentation. They can't see or hear if there's nobody there. But I did it as if there was 1,000 people there. And he, in his mind, was one of 1,000. And he said, I was blown away by what you shared. I found your link. I signed up, and I already brought on 20 plus of my leaders, and we're about to blow this thing up. I said, what? I go online and look, and I see him, and I saw all these new people. And my business exploded. Now, to the untrained person, you know what they would say? Brandon, you got lucky because you had one superstar that joined your team. If I had one superstar that joined my team, I'd have that success too. You got lucky. But I knew better, and I knew where this came from. The mindset, focusing on the goal. Because if I didn't do that, I would not have done the call. This gentleman would not have been on my presentation, and I would have missed out. The one thing that I learned in the science of getting rich is that success is not in doing certain things. It's in doing things a certain way. It is not in doing certain things, but doing things a certain way. Let me break this down in other layman's terms. We've all heard of Michael Jordan, right? Heard of Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time. I don't care what my son says. He'd like to troll me and talk about LeBron James. No, LeBron James ain't the king. I'm sorry. Even though he plays for my Lakers, no. Call me a hater or whatnot, but he is not. Michael Jordan. And next to Michael Jordan is Kobe Bryant. Then you throw in Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Kareem. And I'm not looking at basketball talent. That is not what I'm basing this off of. I am looking at their mindset, their work ethic, their killer instinct. See, Jordan did an interview, and he said the funniest thing to him is that the Bulls had an offense called the triangle offense. It's not a secret of what you're going to do. If Michael Jordan is on the floor, you're going to give the ball to Michael Jordan. They're going to run the triangle. He's either going to go one-on-one, or he's going to post up, or he's going to kick it out to Steve Kerr or Scottie Pippen. It's no secret. He said, I can give the opposing team my playbook. I can tell them exactly what I'm going to do, and they still can't stop me. They still can't stop me. Because it's more than just your own personal skills. Larry Bird did not have the best talent on the basketball court. He did not. I'm sorry for all you Boston fans out there. But he is one of the greatest of all time because he had something else. He understood the secret. He understood where his focus is on, and then the work ethic to back it up. Steph Curry right now is the greatest shooter in NBA history that did not have talent enough to make it into the NBA, first and foremost. Wasn't even the best basketball player on his college team. But he had that drive, that mentality, that hunger. That's what Les Brown talks about. You got to be hungry. And then you put in that work ethic. So that moment verified for me that the secret was real, because now I'm not just listening to other people's story, I experienced it myself. And then it didn't stop there. And then more things like this started happening, and it started to happen more frequently. And that was December of 2011. By July 2012, I retired and walked off my job at the age of 36 years old. And I haven't been back on a job since. This July will be 10 years. 10 years celebrating freedom. Because that's also one of my goals. It wasn't have enough money in the bank account. It was being rich. It was, I want freedom. What do you really want? Because I understood money. You can't say I want more money. What do you want the money for? That's what your focus should be. Not the accumulation of money itself, but what do you want money for, and how does it make you feel if you are to already have it and enjoying that? That's the secret. Because once you do that, the money will come. Remember that old, was it Kevin Costner, Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come. That's the mindset you have to have. Like planting seeds and watering it. You're watering it and nothing happens if you're sitting there staring at it. But if you stop watering it, it will never grow. But you keep watering it. You keep watering it. You keep watering it. All of a sudden, it starts to sprout. It starts to explode. See, the life of an entrepreneur is being able to go broke for 6 months without losing thought and excitement and enthusiasm for what you're doing. You keep doing it. You keep doing it. You keep doing it. And then next thing you know, for the next 6 months, you make the money and you're not working anymore. And the money's just flowing in. That's the secret most people don't get. Most people want instant gratification. I want to be rich. And a week later, how come I'm not rich? This thing doesn't work. It's a scam. No, you never set yourself up to attract any of this to you. And then the first 2 years, I was literally just surprised every time something happened. I expected it to happen, but I still got surprised. I can't believe this thing actually works. Does that mean it's always been good? No. Life is peaks and valleys. Peaks and valleys. I've had down years. 2019 and 2020 was two down years back to back for me in business. One of the worst business years of my life. But at the same time, I was still able to pay all my bills and not have to go back to a job. I was almost there. August of 2017, I actually did get a job. I just never started because a business deal went belly up after 99% done. I was going to have $500,000 in my bank account, and went from having about to have $500,000 to having nothing, not even able to pay my bills, borrowing from my father. And that's when I was in crypto. And I only put $30 down, but I applied. See, this is why I bring this into the crypto side. I applied the knowledge and skill set I have of understanding the secret into what I was doing with crypto, and I flipped $30 into six figures in a short period of time. And now that I understand this, I came to another realization that no matter what, once you get this, no matter what happens to you in life and business, especially when you're in businesses that you don't control, you can't control another person, another CEO, whether they're going to scam everybody, whether they have long-term intentions, whether they have short-term intentions, whether they're lying to you or not. You can't control that. What you can control is how you respond to the things that happen in your life. This is where it gets into Jim Rohn. And this is where also changed my life around, where other people fail. You control how you respond and react. There's no such thing as failure. They are only lessons. And when you have two individuals that go through the same experience and one still thrives while the other one falters, it was because of their mindset on how they both viewed the same situation that they went through. As a learning lesson, I move forward while that person is still crying about something that happened 2 or 3 years ago. I know that no matter what happens, you're 60 days away from a turnaround, because I figured it out. And it might be sooner for some people or longer for others. But for me, I figured out no matter what happens to me, if I were to go broke tomorrow, I know in 60 days, I will still be back at 5 figures a month or more in whatever it is I choose to do, because I understand the secret and I have the work ethic to back it up. That's why it was liberating the secret. And I'm at the hour mark. So let me start to wind this down, because I was getting fired up for a second here. Because this is what people don't get. People get so stuck up on their own garbage and bullshit in their mind that they don't even believe that it is possible for them, that they don't deserve success. That is why you're failing, because you still haven't believed that you deserve it. You want it, but you don't feel you deserve it. You don't know how. And then you don't believe it when something good happens. You think that it's going to be taken away, because that's how it's always happened in the past. And you're going through the same cycle over and over and over and over again. So I'm going to use another example based on relationships. Have we all experienced, either personally or you know somebody that has always been in a bad relationship? Let's take a woman, for example. Every boyfriend or husband she's ever had has been toxic, has been abusive. And it doesn't matter. She could break up with that boyfriend, get another one. It's like the same thing over and over again. And her friend said, you know what? Maybe you need to see a therapist or a psychologist to see what's going on here. And she goes to a psychologist and says, and tells the psychologist, her problems. And the psychologist says, let me ask you a question. What is it that you want in a man, in a relationship? What do you desire? And she answers, well, I don't want a man who ignores me. I don't want a man who can't provide for the family, doesn't have a job. I don't want a man who, even if he did have a job, after work wants to spend time with his boys, going to the club and doing all this other stuff. I don't want a man who makes me feel bad. I don't want a man who's always putting me down. I don't want a man who's verbally abusive, physically abusive. I don't want a man who doesn't want to take care for my children as they care for me. I don't want that. Now, isn't that logical? Who in the world wants a man like that? And then the therapist says, you didn't answer my question. She said, what? What do you mean? I asked you, what do you want in a man? And you told me everything that you don't want. That's your problem. because you're so focused on the things you don't want, the negativity, how it's making you feel, that you're attracting that type of guy to you over and over and over again. Instead, focus on what you want. So try it again. She says, well, I want a provider. I want someone who makes me feel safe. I want somebody who makes me feel special and loved. I want somebody who will love my kids and my family as well. I want somebody who wants to spend time with me and be there for me. I want somebody who loves to want to grow old with me. And then the therapist asks, how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? I feel great. I feel positive. I feel hopeful. Keep that feeling, because next time you're out, that's the type of a guy you're going to attract to you, because the other guy that has those qualities will feel that from you and will be attracted to you. And the guys that are toxic, you will feel like poison to them. They will not be attracted to you and they will stay away. There's that force field again. There's your brain giving off a signal. Because as human beings, we're all connected. You can have somebody special to you on the other side of the world, and you guys can think of each other at the same time. You might have share certain thoughts at the same time. Distance is irrelevant when it comes to this. So this is the secret. To break it down in the most layman's term, focus on what you want, act as if you've already received it. How does it make you feel to have received it and to live that, and keep that feeling for as long as possible, even when you're feeling down. So I'm going to give you an assignment on how you can start this process outside of reading books, because even though for me, my aha moment came from Your Wish is Your Command and The Science of Getting Rich. For others, they've had aha moments from listening to other people's stories or attending a seminar or listening to a different audio. Everybody's different. My aha moment may not be your aha moment. I was so freaking egotistical and stubborn that it took me 10 years, while somebody else may figure it out in 1 year. Some people figure it out in 1 week. Go figure. They figure it out immediately. It took me a long time to figure it out because I had to get out of myself. You know, we think that the world revolves around us and we operate that way. There was one, I'll share this because I was training my cousin. There's one thing I told her. When dealing with people, you need to understand one thing. 99% of people always think of what's best for them first. And everything that they do is built around their own personal desires and wants and feels. And the business partners or other people that they have in their life outside of family are there. They're either there for a season, a reason, or a lifetime, because they provide something that's beneficial for you, whether at that moment or for forever. You know, they will reveal themselves, however, and some who was there now may not be there later. But you have to understand something. And this is not a bad thing. Other people don't have what's best for you as their number one intention outside of your mom and dad. And they shouldn't. That's not how life works. Other people were not put on this world for your pleasure, to satisfy you. You got to get out of yourself with that. They're put on this earth to do what they're supposed to do for what's best for them and their family. And at times it can align with you. Secondary is helping others and helping and being a blessing to others and helping, uplifting others. That's secondary. That's not primary. It is in our DNA. It is in our code. So once you understand this, then when dealing with people, what I've always figured out and learned how to do is, what is that person's desires? And will their desire be in any way negative towards me? Will it hurt my quest? And if the answer is yes, then I can't be with that person anywhere near me. I still love them. I want them to succeed. I want them to eat, just not at my table. And then there's times where, for an entire lifetime, that person's goals and desires still aligns with your purpose. And you're able to go on this venture together. And then sometimes they veer. So when dealing with people, when you see somebody do something utterly stupid, and you feel like you got stabbed in the back or this or that happened, you shouldn't be surprised. They are moving and operating in a way that is in their best interest. So when you come from that, well, that person's not loyal. Loyal? They are loyal. They're loyal to them. What you should be upset about is how are you reacting to this situation that just happened? They can't control how you react. They can control what they do, but only you can control how you react to whatever they do. That is another important lesson I learned over the years. So what is the assignment on how you can help yourself? I'm going to give you two things. And this is going to be a punch in the gut. A punch in the gut. Go into the mirror in your bathroom and look at yourself. And just stare at yourself for maybe 5 minutes without saying anything. Look yourself in the eyes. Do you know that that's difficult for a lot of people? Can you just look at yourself in the eyes in the mirror for 5 minutes without saying anything? You'd be surprised how difficult that is. And then you tell yourself, are you somebody that I would want to be associated with, that I believe can help me elevate my current situation in life? Are you the person I would be working with? And answer truthfully and honestly, because nobody knows you better than you. If you lie to yourself, you have a lot of work to do. If you can be honest with yourself, that's a first step. So when you're honest with yourself and you answer that question, the second thing you can tell yourself is, what are the type of qualities that you look for in another individual that you will want to be associated with them, you will want to follow them, you will want to have as business partners, you will want them to teach you. You let them be your teacher. What qualities are you looking for? And then have that list of qualities, and now you know what to work on for yourself so that you can have and become those qualities. And once you do that, and then you will start to attract people who also have those qualities to you. This is like having a cheat code and understanding the law of the universe. Once you're able to do that, because the only thing you can work on is you. So you're able to do that. Now you're attracting like-minded spirits to you. Not flesh, but the energy that people are generating. We can't see it with our eyes, but you're going to attract that to you. And things and instances will start happening in your life that you couldn't even fathom. You don't even know where it's coming from. I am no longer surprised. I expect it when things happen. I expect it. Here, I'll give you another example. And I like using my cousin, for example, because I'm teaching her a lot of stuff. I was having a conversation with her about manifesting certain things. And I remember saying, this is how much money I need to make in the next 30 days. I don't know how it's going to happen, but that's what I need to make. And then 24 hours later or so, she was with me and I was in a meeting and I made $25,000 right there. And she said after, did you just make $25,000? Yeah. And I was nonchalant about it because I expected it. I didn't know where it was coming from. I didn't know how it was happening. I expected it. to happen. Those of you that are close to me over the years have seen this. Justice, for example, has seen this happen over and over and over again over the years, in our dark times and in our great times. Angel, I've been working with since 2012. We had a conversation today about certain things were going to happen in the future. We have witnessed this. We've experienced it. So that is one exercise for you to do. Honesty with yourself, realizing what qualities it is that you need and work on those qualities, adding them to your portfolio of you. Here's the second thing before you go to sleep tonight, and we're going to end. Before you go to sleep tonight, I want you to ask yourself this question. What would you do if money was no longer an issue in your life? Money was no obstacle. What would you do? The obvious answer is the same thing people will say if I won the lottery, If I won the lottery, I'm getting rich, or I'm buying the house, summer home, all my cars and toys, the boat, the jet skis. I'm going on vacations. I'm visiting places I've never visited before. I'm going shopping in New York. I'm going to Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills. I'm going to London. I'm going to Dubai. Okay, that's great. And 1 year, you just went on a spending splurge. I'm buying mama a house and my kids going to college, trust fund for my cousins and all that. You've done all that. And then a year later, you wake up at 10 a.m. while everybody is already at work because you woke up when you're finished sleeping. On that thought, let me say this. I found something else out too. I remember when I was working a job and having to get up at 4:30 a.m. or 5 because I had to go into rush hour traffic and stuff just to get to work by 7 or 7:30. And I remember saying how sweet it would be to sleep in. Wake up when I'm finished sleeping. You know what I realized? I've been able to do that for 10 years. I've had that choice. But you know what I've realized? I don't sleep in. I don't sleep in. I get up early in the morning. I'm excited to start my day. And wealthy people also, the same thing. They sleep less hours than they did before. It's a weird thing. But anyways, this is what I want you to do. A year later, you wake up at 10 a.m. and you have more money in your account now than you did when you went on your spending spree. And you think to yourself, what do I want to do today? I've already bought everything that I could ever want. I've already traveled. I've already, got my toys and stuff. I've enjoyed it all already. I've consumed. Okay, now what do I do with the rest of my life? Since I don't have to worry about survival anymore. It's already there. Yeah, Provis is there. Provis just walked off his job. I don't have to worry about survival. I don't have to worry about the bills. You're going through the grocery store. You're never even looking at the price. You go shopping. You don't care what the price. I want it. I get it. I don't care what the price is. What would you do with your life? What are you passionate about? See, this is why people don't understand how wealthy people can commit suicide or wealthy people are unhappy. All wealth does is magnifies who you already are as a person or individual. And if you're rotten on the inside, all money does is let everybody else see how rotten you actually are. You can't hide. See, when you're working a 9-to-5 job and you're in survival mode, that's where your focus is. So you don't even have time to express who you really are. You don't have time to do it because you're trying to survive. But when you have all the resources in the world, who are you really? Most people, it takes them a while to answer that question because they've never thought about it. That's why I call it dream mode. Last time we dreamed was when children, but when you become adult, they say you need to stop dreaming and be in reality. You can't dream anymore. So we stop dreaming, we stop reading, we stop manifesting, and we just do the grind. until we die. And then we're on our deathbed and we're regretting all the things that we could have done and didn't do in our life. Right? Here's the most important part of doing this. Once you figure out what it is that you want to do and your passion, and then you say, how does it make you feel? How do you feel at that moment if you were living that life right now? How does it make you feel? This is the most important part. Capture that feeling and then go to sleep. Why? When you sleep, your subconscious brain does not turn off. It's still going. Have you ever said this when somebody asks you a question or they want you to do something and you say, you know what? Let me sleep on it. Let me sleep on it. I'll get back to you tomorrow morning. Your brain is solving problems for you while you're asleep. And so you wake up with fresh new ideas. Where'd that come from? I slept on it last night. I had a chance to think. So when you fall asleep, you're falling asleep feeling good. And your brain is still magnifying for hours without you consciously being awake to shut those feelings down, because that's what people do. Oh, I don't want to feel good about that. It's going to be taken away. So since you're asleep and you're taking your consciousness out of the way, your subconscious is only reacting to your natural state. You're not even thinking, logically at this point. It just is. And you're vibrating at that while you're asleep for hours. And then when you wake up, you automatically feel good. And you may not know why you feel good. And then it's going to disappear very quickly, because then your brain turns on. You have that cup of coffee, the fogginess goes away, and now you're back to, oh, dang it, I got to go to work today. I got to deal with these crazy people at my job. I got to pay this bill. The collectors call in, blah, blah, blah. Reality hits again. Now you're feeling bad again, or you're feeling in this different vibration level that is impossible to attract positive stuff to you. And that's because you've been doing this all your life. All your life. You've got to break 20, 30, 40 years of habits. Thank you for listening, Mr. Irvin. I'll be done in 5 minutes, by the way. You've been doing this all your life, so it's going to take time. So you did that when you went to sleep. Do this again at lunchtime. Do it again in the evening. Do it 3 times a day. Or whenever you start to feel down, take 5 minutes, set aside, and dream mode again. Take that feeling again. That's what you do. Most people will do it for a day or two, and then they'll forget about it. They'll go on to, back to the normal things. But this is not only the secret, but how to get there and apply it. I just gave you priceless information that people have spent millions of dollars in search of. I just gave it to you right now. What you do with that information is in your hands. What I would suggest is, now that you've been made aware of it, now on your own time, you start searching it more. You start delving into it more. You start reading. You start actively becoming aware of this on your own time. I can cover this information in weeks, let alone an hour and a half. There's no way I can cover this in an hour and a half. All I can do is make you aware that it exists. And I hope that's what you got from tonight. This is the secret. And as we close out and we begin a brand new year, make this the best year of your life. The past is the past. The future is unwritten. It is in your hands now on what you do with the greatest time to be alive in human history for the most amount of people is right now. Cryptocurrency had the greatest year of its existence in 2021. And we're still at the beginning right now where we can change our lives, and generational wealth can be created from what we do today. But crypto is just a vehicle. It's not the savior. It's just a vehicle. The focus is what do you want this whole crypto stuff to be able to do for you in life? That's where your focus is, not crypto. Which is why, even though I'm Bitcoin Brandon, I will always be the mindset business coach. So with that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. I will end with playing this cool last video. I love this StreamYard, and I will see you guys. Am I doing anything tomorrow? I don't know. I'll post it up. Probably Monday. I'll see you guys on Monday. Yeah, I'm going to be busy tomorrow. Christmas decorations and storage and all that. Take care, everybody. Good night. God bless. Bitcoin Brandon out.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Beyond measure.
I'm gonna show you how great I am. Last night I cut the light off in my bedroom, hit the switch, was in the bed before the room was dark. I'm gonna show you how great I am. Only last week I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
This kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew.
I'm gonna show you how great I am. I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. I'm gonna show you how great I am. All of you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him. All of you, I know you got him. I know you got him picked, but the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame. Like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Because if you're willing to go through all the battling you gotta go through to get to where you want to get, who's got the right to stop you? I mean, maybe some of you guys got something you never finished, something you really want to do, something you never said to somebody, something. And you're told no, even after you pay your dues. Who's got the right to tell you that? Who? Nobody. It's your right to listen to your gut. It ain't nobody's right to say no. After you earn the right to be where you want to be and do what you want to do. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same, as we are liberated from our own fear. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
All of you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him. All of you, I know you got him. I know you got him picked, but the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.